Hi guys, this is Vitaly with AFT Dispatch and A2C Logistics, and in today's video I wanted to speak with you about adverse driving conditions versus the safe haven law that a lot of people are confusing. The adverse driving conditions exception extends your duty day by up to 2 hours when adverse driving conditions are present. This is in addition to the 2 extra hours of driving time already allowed. Now, there were some adverse driving conditions changes, and we're going to go over those in today's video. The differences between the adverse driving conditions exception under the previous rule, the hours of service rules, and the new rule that took effect on September 29, 2020, basically says that when unforeseen adverse driving conditions affect the driver's route, the drivers have a couple of options. So the previous rule was you could drive up to 2 hours beyond the driving limits, but you can't go over your 14-hour clock. The new rule, however, gives you an additional 2-hour extension that applies to both driving limits as well as on-duty limits. And now the definition of driving conditions considers the role of the driver. Previously, the adverse driving conditions meant that, snow, sleet, fog, or other adverse weather conditions were interrupting your day. A highway covered with snow, for example, or ice, or unusual road and traffic conditions, none of which were apparent on the basis of information that was known to the person dispatching the run at the time that it has begun. The new rule, however, basically says that adverse driving conditions mean snow, ice, sleet, fog, or other adverse weather conditions or unusual road or traffic conditions, just as before, that were not known or could not be reasonably known to the driver immediately prior to beginning the duty, or immediately before beginning driving after a qualifying rest break or sleeper berth period, or a motor carrier immediately prior to dispatching the driver. Now, the following safe haven rules apply to motor carriers hauling hazardous materials or explosives. It's part of the FMCSR, Part 397, talking about the transportation of hazardous materials, driving and parking rules, Subpart A, if you want to find that section in the regulations. Now, as far as a safe haven is an area specifically approved in writing by your local, state, or federal government or governmental authorities for the parking of unattended vehicles containing hazmat.